All right, another edition today in the ongoing bottoming process in gold. That's where I think the next opportunity is going to be. We may get one in energy, and hopefully, if stocks can correct here, we may get another buying opportunity in the stock market as well in the not too distant future. But right now, I think gold is the closest to giving us a buying opportunity. Um, after the reversal on the FOMC meeting yesterday, we're getting some follow through to the downside, and barring a complete reversal into the close, it looks like gold is finally going to close below this support zone right here, which was the January low, that daily cycle low. Um, Looks like we're going to close below that. I tend to start counting bloodbath days from the day a support zone gets broke. That's usually what triggers the panic is a support zone breaks, usually one that is held several times, and then when that breaks, it kind of starts that panic selling. Um, it, the panic typically lasts 5 to 7 days, but as we know, the stock market eventually breaks every system. So um, maybe this time the panic is shorter, maybe it's a little longer, but I do think we're getting pretty close to the end of the correction in gold, and we're going to get buying opportunity here in the not too distant future. Generally speaking, most of the time, an intermediate cycle low will break below the intermediate trend line. I've drawn that in right here for you. So again, maybe this time is different, and maybe it doesn't break below it, but I think for right now anyway, I think you should assume that will break and probably not try and pick a bottom until it does. Sentiment is still a little bit mild in the metals sector and in gold in particular. We're still at about 40% bulls. I'd like to see that come back down to maybe 30% bulls before I try and pick a bottom. And I think that would happen if gold can break this trend line in the um, maybe in the week or so ahead. I think that would push sentiment down to a little bit more extreme level. Um, you can see here the miners did break the intermediate trend line yesterday, so we've met that requirement. That doesn't mean that it's going to bottom today. Usually, the miners will sell off in tandem with gold, and sometimes they'll bottom maybe a day or two ahead of gold. But it's not like they will bottom and then start to rocket higher as gold continues down. They'll just start to lose downside momentum as the market starts to sniff out a final bottom. So usually what happens is they just kind of stop participating in the panic as gold finishes the last 2 or 3 days of its intermediate decline. So I'm going to say over the next 2 or 3 days, we're going to start hearing analysts get really extremely bearish on the metal sector, um, you know, projecting price declines, forever into the future, no chance of a recovery. The same kind of nonsense we witnessed, back here at this bottom. There's always a bottom, and we are, I think, moving into the final stages of this intermediate correction, and I think we're about to create an amazing opportunity in the metal sector uh, in the next 5 to 7 days. If we get a normal bloodbath phase, uh, but like I said, could be a little bit shorter, could be a little bit longer. Don't get too wrapped up on 5 to 7 being an absolute concrete number. Just be patient. Look for some kind of capitulation level selling here in the next week, and then some sign that the market uh, is the selling has exhausted and the market is starting to turn to the upside. And then once that happens, I think you should trust the turn, and that's the spot to buy. You don't want to wait 4 months down the road and buy at the top of a rally. you want to try and buy at the bottom. So big opportunity coming here in the next week, maybe 2 weeks. Somewhere in here, we're going to get a great buying opportunity, and a lot of money is going to be made in the metals sector during the second half of this year.